So I wanted to do a talk today on the three, as I call them, hidden subjects that you're not allowed to talk about. The three being, first one being incest, the second one being rape, and the third one being suicide. So these are topics that, especially when I was growing up, you could not even mention it. Of course, at the time we didn't have the internet, so you couldn't do any so-called research on it. And you couldn't really ask anybody. Now that I think about it, you wouldn't want to be asking people about those topics in that time. Nowadays you can at least talk about it, and you can certainly do a lot of research if you have the access to the internet, and you can learn about these subjects, but it is still hard to talk about. I remember at the time I was in university and I had to pick a topic to do a in-depth research project on, and I don't remember if I picked it or if the professor helped me, and I decided on doing suicide by elderly people. And so I did a 2-month long research on it, where I was doing some in-depth research and I was talking to people about it, and I learned so much about this topic, which I find I'm using and talking to people about. You never believe how often this topic comes up, especially now with the coronavirus. So I learned a lot about this topic, and things I did not know, would never have expected. And when I had to ask people in surveys, I learned a lot of information which I didn't know. It's something you only know about when you're in that situation and when you're talking to people about it. And so let's start with the one topic that I only knew a little about it because I watched a show in the old days. It was called Quincy, and one of the episodes was about incest, and the woman gives a lot of statistics about it. So I learned and started my learning about that topic with that. And what she said was that 10% of society engages in this. Now that I think of it, just came to me, a Canadian author. She did a book on hockey, and then she did a book about Nova Scotia. She covered this topic, and I remember reading that book. It was really good. So I'll put a link in with that book if you're interested to read that. It was such a great book, which I never knew about it. And of course, she didn't do any book tours about it, but I did see her once in chapters, but I didn't ask her about it. So I'll put that in. So that's and a related thing is that in the old days, a lot of people had to sleep in the same bed. I could tell you a story, but I won't, about that. When you're sleeping in the same bed, things that you would not expect do happen. You can put 2 and 2 together there. Now, as far as rape, this is a topic that has come up so much in the last few days. I guess we've had our defense minister, I don't know his title, but he had an allegation of that, and so he quit. And then they hired a new guy, and about a week later now, I guess it was last night, I heard he quit as well. I heard them on CBC talking about this. Such a sad topic. And then there's the incident on the girl on TikTok. I no longer go on TikTok, but she was on TikTok and she did a video about what happened. She was in the army, I guess the US Army, and she kind of did a rant about it. And so that was very sad. And then we have, there's been a couple movies about the pervasiveness of rape in the US. And then of course there was the extreme example of this, I guess he was a swimmer from Stanford, if I'm correct. And 60 Minutes talked to the girl that it happened to, and then she came and went out public, which was good of her, to try to give him some retribution. And I believe the judge, if it's the same case, I believe the judge lessened his sentence. People were outraged. And so then they tossed out the judge, which was, I think, good karma, or at least good retribution to him. This is a topic, especially in the Army, that it just seems there's nothing you can do about it, and it's very pervasive. And I guess the girl in the Canada, she was saying that they gang up on you too. If you speak out about it, then they target you for retribution. So it's a very sad state of affairs as far as that topic goes. Moving to the topic of suicide, this is something that in our society in the West here, we don't want to talk about this. It's something that we know goes on, but we don't want to talk about it. As far as when I was in China, I started doing some research about that. It's even worse. The numbers, well, the numbers that you can get, you can't get accurate numbers, but the numbers you can get, it shows that it's even worse. The poor kids have to do what's called the Gaokao. It's a entrance test to university. They're under so much stress from, I guess, the beginning of high school and even middle school. They're always studying. You see them every single free second they have. They're studying so they can do well in the Gaokao, which is sad because it's almost an artificial test, because the kids, if you're living in the country, you don't have access to good information, so you can't do well. The government knows the test is faulty and is bad, but they're afraid to change it and do anything about it. So the kids are under constant stress, and they end up wilting under the pressure because they don't know what to do, and they end up resorting to suicide. So this is a sad thing. And also, I failed to mention that in China they do have incest, but they do it a little differently. One student told me the parents couch it as called showering together, and they get away with it that way. So every society has incest. Don't kid yourself in that, oh, it doesn't exist here, like Russia does with gay people. They say, oh, we don't have gay people. Every society has it. It's just some are willing to talk about it and confront it, and others aren't. So I'll leave it there, and I'll put a lot of links in so you can read more about these topics if you care to. Thanks. Bye.